Hello everyone, welcome back on our YouTube channel. As you know that till the last video we have covered complete topic of black box testing, topic 4.2. Now we will start topic 4.3, which is about white box technique. Before starting the video, if you are new on our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel, like our videos and share with your friends as well. I hope these videos will be very beneficial for those who are aspiring this ISTQB foundation level exam. So today we will discuss in detail about the white box test technique. So black box testing is done. Now white box test technique, basically, as I have told you in the intro of chapter number 4, that white box test technique basically is also known as structural based technique, because in this technique we know actually all the detail, or you can say if we are testing a code, we know the complete structure of our test object. So white box testing is based on the internal structure of the test object. White box test technique can be used at all test level. That means it can be used at all test levels, as similarly in the case of black box test technique. But the two code related technique discussed in section are mostly commonly used at component test level. Actually, as far as the ISTQB foundation level exam is concerned, we only look mainly two test technique, which are dedicatedly or totally based normally for the component test level. So there are many test technique for white box testing, but in this foundation level exam we will only look into two types of technique. The first one is statement testing and coverage, the second one is decision testing. So there are more advanced techniques that are used in some safety critical, mission critical or highly integrated environment to achieve more thorough coverage, but those are not discussed here. Why the white box test technique is done? We should know that every part of the code is being covered, every part of the test object is being covered, every decision either with if or else is executed at least once. So it is the main purpose of the white box technique. Now we will see in detail one by one two types of white box testing that we will study in this particular foundation level exam. So the first one is statement testing and coverage. Maybe you are already familiar if you are into the programming, or if you are from the background of some engineering backgrounds, you know this statement coverage. What is what is statement? Any executable part in the code normally is known as the statement. Even sometimes the comments in the code are also the statement, but executable normally, like for example in the code you have 100 line of codes, so all of the 100 lines are known as a statement. And if during debugging or during testing you execute all the 100 statements, then your statement coverage will be 100%. That means you have executed all the statements at least once. So statement testing exercises the potential executable statement in the code. The potential executable statement coverage is measured as the number of statement executed by the test divided by total number of executable statement in the test object, normally expressed as percentage. As I have given you example, for example, you have 100 line of code in your module, and you run test cases to execute let's say 60% of the statements are executed, rest are not executed. Like for example 50%, you can say. Let's say we have 100 line of code, 50 with if statements, 50 with else. So you only give the positive test cases, you only give the if statements. So all the if statements are executed but not the else, then your statement coverage will be 50%. I will give you two quick examples regarding this statement testing and coverage, and decision testing and coverage, and then we will also solve some numericals in the upcoming bonus videos. The second one is decision testing and coverage. That means you have executable statements, and then for example for one statement you have either this path or either this path. That means for the decision testing you see, for statement testing we see all the statements are executed. For decision testing we see all the branches are executed. If one branch has 2 to 3 different paths, all of these paths should be at least tested once. Decision testing exercises the decision in the code and test the code that is executed based on the decision outcomes. To do this, the test cases follow the control flow that occur from the decision point. For example, for an if statement, one for the true outcome and one for the false outcome. For a case statement, if you are already familiar with the switch case, otherwise you can Google it. For a case statement, test cases would be required for all possible outcomes, including the default outcome. Like in case of decision testing, you should test your all decisions, your all executable branches should be, your all branches should be executed. If as I have told you, if there are two if and else, then there should, both of them should be executed. I will give you an example here as well. Let's say this was a branch, and then from here there are two paths. The one is A, the other one is B. If your test case only execute the path A, then only one decision is executed out of two, A and B. So coverage will be 50%. Coverage is measured as the number of decision outcome executed by test divided by the total number of decision outcome in the test subject, known expressed as percentage. Now I will try to give you a particular example or one or two examples that how this white box text technique for statement and decision coverage is being applied. Let's take an example. For example, from here, let's say this all the circles A, B, C, D, E and F, they all are statements. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say we have in this particular example 6 statements we have. Sorry for the bad handwriting, because of the balance surface is an issue for me. Okay, and then we have how many decisions we have. I will tell you. For example, from A we can only go to B. There is only one possibility. From B we have two outcomes. Either we can go to C or either we can go to D. So you can say there are two branches. Similarly, from D, if you see, from D either we can go to E or either we can go to A. Again, two more branches. So that means you can say you have four branches we have already, but you can say there are 2 points where we have more than let's say one branch. Then from E you can only go to F. They have given us two test cases, and then they are asking how much is the statement coverage and how much is the decision coverage for this particular test cases. Let's say that we take the first test case an example, which is A, B, D, E, F. We are taking this path A, B, D, E, F. If you see in this particular test case, we are taking an example of statement coverage. Statement A is covered, B is covered, D is covered, E is covered, F is covered. Our 5 out of 6 statements are covered. The next test case is A, B and C. A, B and C. So you see all of our statements are covered. The test case number 1 was covering A, B, D, E, F, 5 statements, and the test case number C through A and B again, but no problem, duplicate. The C is again covered. So we have 6 out of 6 statement covered. That means 100% statement coverage. Now come to the decision coverage, where we can see the decision. The branches where we have two possible outcomes, there we see the decision coverage. If you come to A, we only have one possibility, B, no other arrow. Like from A we are not going anywhere else. Now you come to B. From B you have two possibilities. Either you can go to C or you can go to D. So you see we have total 4 outcomes currently, 2 from B and 2 from D. So from B, if you see this B and C is covering you see one decision outcome, and if you see here in the first test case B and D, this is covering this outcome. So 2 are covered out of 4. 2 are covered from the B side. Now let's take the D example. In the D we again have two outcomes, either E or either A. So if you see test case number 1, we are moving from D to E. That's fine. This path is covered, D to E. But if you say no test case is written here from D to A, that means only one outcome from D is covered. 2 plus 1, 3. So if you see 3 are covered out of 4, we have 75% decision coverage. Let's say I add an extra test case here, like test case 3, which is D to A. Then this branch was also executed, and my decision coverage could be 100% in this case. So I hope you get the idea about the statement coverage and similarly about the decision coverage as well. Now we will again read the let's say the further theory. When 100% statement coverage is achieved, it ensures that all the executable statement in the code have been tested at least once, as we have seen in the previous example. A, B, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, all the statements are covered. But it does not ensure that all decision logic has been tested, as we have seen already. Either, although our statement coverage is 100%, we have covered all the statement, but still if you see for the decision from B we are covering both the decisions, but from D we are not covering both the decisions. So this line is very critical, very important for ISTQB exam. There we will see the line: 100% statement coverage never guarantees 100% decision coverage. As we have seen in our example, you can take an example here. Over here our statement coverage is 100%, but our decision coverage is 75%. Why? Because one of the executable branch is not executed from D to A, although statement coverage was fine. So okay, of the two white box technique discussed in the syllabus, statement testing may provide less coverage than the decision testing. So when 100% decision coverage is achieved, it execute all the decision outcome, which include testing the true outcome, also the false outcome, even when there is no explicit false outcome, e.g. in the case of if statement without else in the code. They are telling you, if you have only if statement in the code, if let's say C is greater than D, then print Y, but no else part. Still in this case, although the else part is empty, blank, you still have to run that part. You still have to give a test case in which C is less than D, so that it will go to the blank part. So decision coverage, decision statement are also executed even there is no false statement or else statement in the code. Statement coverage help to find defect in the code that was not exercised by the other test. So statement basically coverage check for the unused branches, dead code, and the statement which was unused, they test for the code. Decision coverage help to find a defect in the code where other tests have not taken both true and false outcomes. So if you merge both of the technique together, for statement coverage you ensure that all of the statements are executed at least once. For decision coverage you make sure that all of the decision outcomes are executed, all decision outcomes are executed. So both are combined, then your coverage will be fine. Achieving 100% decision coverage guarantees 100% statement coverage, but not vice versa. This line is very important. If your statement coverage is 100%, still you cannot say that your decision coverage is 100%, because it's possible that all the statements are covered with your test cases, but maybe there are multiple decision outcomes which are not covered with test cases. But if you are doing 100% decision coverage, it is for sure that you are doing 100% statement coverage. So now here we have taken another example for you, which is about the basic idea of statement and decision coverage. So first of all, let's say we have taken two inputs A and B, and based on that we are doing some if and else. The first part is how many test cases you need for 100% statement coverage. So let's say we have two inputs. If A is greater than B, this line will be executed. So one test case, in first test case, let's say we are giving A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 2. So these two statements will be executed, but not these two, because if you are familiar with the if else structure, it will only either run if or else. Let's say for the second test case, we are giving A is equal to 1 and B remains the same 2. So in this case, this condition will be wrong and it will go to the else part. So we have covered all of the four statements using our two test cases. So for test cases statement coverage you need two. Similarly for decision coverage you have two paths. Either from here you can go to if A is greater than B path, or else, which is could be A less than B part. So you also need two test cases to cover two test cases for 100% decision coverage. So I hope that you have understood the basic concept of this statement testing and decision testing and coverage. So this was everything for the white box test technique. Now we will jump to in the next video we will jump to the experience based test technique, and then our chapter number 4 will be over. If you have any question, any doubt, put it in the comment section. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe our channel, share with your friends, and until the next video, we wish you happy learning. Have a nice day and bye.